Good afternoon, everybody. Roger, welcome to the Crossroads stage.
Thank you.
I am really looking forward to this conversation. So I would like to jump right in. And Imran mentioned the rich history that Bata has. We have a room full of people who are very familiar with the shoes. But I just want to set the scene for this conversation by looking a little bit about that history. So the brand was founded in 1894 in the Czech Republic. And we're now 130 years later. So it's a bit of an unfair question to say, can you summarize that history? But just tell us a little bit about how we've got here over the last 130 years.
Thank you. Well, first of all, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here sharing our history. No, as you say, it's a long history, and everything started from Thomas Bata, who is our founder, and also the Bata family. It's behind Bata business, and it's a history of a vision, no? And we really like, I think Bata, it's a very different company than many other international organizations, because everything started with a vision of make high quality product affordable and accessible to everybody all over the world, no? And this is really inspiring, because it's true that when you think about that, almost 130 years ago, shoes and clothing was extremely expensive, and there is a large part of the population that didn't have access to this, no? And then as part of this vision of creating this high-quality product, accessible and affordable, there is also another pillar of our business, which is making it with positive impact in the people. When we mean people, we mean both the people that work for the company, but also for the communities where we operated, no? And then with that vision, so he started to develop what he wanted to do, a mass production shoe business. Then he get to visit Henry Ford at that time, where he was starting to produce, also cars in a mass production way. And then he took all this inspiration to build the first shoe really built at a mass production, which was, one shoe that was called Batovka. Sorry, this is Czech people here. The pronunciation is not perfect, but it became a super high success in the Czech Republic. And then from that, he takes this vision to make it affordable, not only in Czech Republic, but everywhere in the world, no? And then it's also a history of flexibility and reinventing themselves, no? Because just after a few years, the First World War started, and he was part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, so he turned his business to really the main supplier of the Austro-Hungarian army. And this was also a super learning opportunity to really learn how he can still escalate further these mass production capabilities, no? And then he started to produce still more efficiently, and this allowed him to replicate this model after the war across many countries, and by 1930, we were already present in almost 50 countries, no, including India, Chile, Thailand, and many other countries.
So at the time was incredibly unusual.
That's right. Yeah, I think it's probably the first global retailer, in the history of retail, no? And then, it happened then the Second World War came, and then the Nazis took Czechoslovakia, and then he again reinvented himself. He moved the headquarters, so he split the company, to be honest with you, and then moved the headquarters to Canada. And then, the company was operated from Canada until 10 years ago, when the company was moved to Switzerland. That's where we are heading our business. And then from that, now we have, we run the business that way. And as you say, we sell around 150 million pair of shoes. But we still have this, we are very loyal to our roots. So we want to make high quality products affordable, accessible, taking care of the communities where we operate. And we take that also as a part of our mission and really enjoy that journey.
And it strikes me, if we fast forward to today, what makes the business so unusual and possibly unique is these 6,000 retail stores that you had, as Imran mentioned, across 5 regions. But so topical for this conversation because the majority of them are now in the global south, right?
Yep.
And so could you just talk to me about how that international strategy has played out? You have incredible coverage in the global south. How has that happened, and why is that so important to what Bata does now?
So, well, really the mission, so I think this internationalization of the business, it's very aligned with the vision of our founder and, and the Bata mission, no? Which is making the shoes available everywhere in the world. So historically, the way of going to the market was landing into one country, building a factory, building the houses for the employees and the workers of the factories. Not only this, but also building, let's say, well-being, like cinemas, swimming pools, wherever it's needed to really create a nice, well-being. And then, this model evolved a bit. Now, as you highlighted, we have 5, which we can call it 6 regions to manage the brand. So we still want to be very relevant locally. And then we have this 6 region, which is Latin America, Africa, Europe, India, Southeast Asia, and then Pakistan and Bangladesh, which is almost like another hub. And then we operate through this, through this regional approach. And we try to be, globally efficient but locally relevant.
So that's a huge challenge from an operational perspective, I would have thought, to have that kind of coverage. You're not as centralized as one might think, given that footprint. So there's a balance between centralization and decentralization from an operational perspective.
Yeah. So the way we see it, it's that everything that it can be shared across the different countries. It's managed centrally, but then the operations differently than many of other international companies. We still have local operations in every single country, which means that we have local fulfillment centers in every single country to serve our customers faster, no, and also to replenish our stores, no. One of, I think, our unique way of operating is that the business model of Bata, we have a lot of capillarity, with 6,000 stores in 70 countries, means that on average we have almost 100 stores per country, which is a large capillarity. So, and then in order to fulfill these stores very quickly and still maintain the logistics efficiency, we try to to have these fulfillment centers close to the stores so that we can replenish the stores that needs the product on a very, very fast way.
So I just want to reiterate that. On average, over 100 stores per country.
Well, if you divide 6,070, it's slightly less, but yeah.
Because it's an extraordinary commitment in each country that you're in.
I mean, we let's say of course we try to be as big as we can in the countries, but also on a healthy way, yeah.
And Imran made that point, which I thought was interesting, about how many people feel that Bata is local to them, and I think that local, to be a global business, but to have real resonance locally is so hard to do. From your perspective, what makes that work?
So for us, I will say that there is one principle, which again is slightly different than the many other brands that operate in the market, is that we believe that to be successful in every single market, you need to be super relevant locally, as we, for example, and really you really need to understand the local culture, the local needs, the local also, So really, we need to be close to our customers, also to adapt our commercial calendar to their local festivities, to their local school calendars. So all that, we take it very seriously, and we take it as something, differentiate ourselves. Imran here was, saying this lovely example of Indonesia with the winter collections in the stores, So yeah, this is the way that some companies operate, and it can be very successful in certain cases, but we have a different vision. We really believe that if we are able to adapt to be closer to our customers, then we can really reach these 100 stores plus in every country,
And if I'm understand this correctly, part of this ability to be local is, for example, you price differently in Indonesia to India to Bangladesh, right? And that's part of the model, to be local to the needs and the affordability of an individual market.
Well, this is a good example because the affordability, it's one single word, but affordability in Luxembourg, doesn't mean the same that affordable in Thailand, no?
Yeah.
So and not only that, is that maybe in Thailand, in Bangkok, it's maybe not the same as as another town of the north of Thailand, no? So we try to make this affordability localized. Again, as you highlighted, we have, I would say, 3 pillars of localization. One, it's product, making sure that we have the right product to the right country where we operate. We have pricing, because affordability, what we understand for affordability, it's very different depending on the country where you operate. And the last one, it's probably the commercial content and calendar, but also the communication, all the marketing assets that we produce to become relevant locally. This is also something that we personalize. And I found this very powerful, no? And because it's really, for global brands, I think reaching that level of localization, it's hard to do. And then we have the privilege to have local teams that help us to do that efficiently.
And I'm really interested, we've talked about the retail footprint, but the other part of your responsibilities in addition to the international side is digital.
Yeah.
And I'm really interested to understand how that interplays with this huge international footprint. So how does the digital element of what your strategy is and this retail strategy interplay? What's the connection between them?
Well, I think, to be honest, as you say, my main area of expertise is digital. I do believe that digital really fits very well with Thomas Bata vision, no? Because digital brings accessibility at its highest level, no? And that's what I really love digital business. And then it also allows us to personalize the content, so really it's also aligned with this vision of being locally or individually relevant, if you take that to the next extreme with the personalized content, no? So then the digital, we play, it plays a critical role because it brings the accessibility up to the next level. And not only this, I think we have three big pillars on when we look into our digital business development. On one side, we really push the Bata.com website and e-commerce site across every single country, because this is where we really can engage with our customers and really build loyalty. The other pillar, it's the marketplaces that are relevant for our category. So we really want to have our shoes present in the shopping destination, in every single country where we operate, and also overseas. And then the third pillar, which I found it also very powerful, especially with 6,000 stores, it's to make sure that the stores have digital assets to support their business, to take care of their customer more efficiently, no? And then this digital piece, it's anyway fully integrated from an operational point of view, but also from a communication point of view with the rest of the business. So at the end, it's just, I don't like to talk too much about digital, offline, online, because what I really care is, how we can serve our customers better, no? And really, I think when you put it's a fact that the customers go to stores, they go to malls, they go to standalone stores in the street, but they also spend time on the digital platforms, in internet. So I think you really need to put all together and really understanding that digital is just one more channel where customers can interact from you. Dubai Mall could be another channel, that it's fantastic. But I think, putting all together, it is when you really create positive impact into your customers.
Great. So we've talked about your international footprint. We've talked about digital. We're here in Dubai. So the final thing I just wanted to talk to you about is, what are your plans for expansion in this particular region? Does that figure in your thinking?
Yes, to be honest, I think this part of the world, it's a fantastic opportunity for us. First of all, because we have the capability of understanding the customer, which is something that, and really we have the capability, let's say, all the company, it's organized to be flexible, to adapt or company to the local needs, no? And then when we look at our expansion opportunity, as I was saying before, we have this Latin America, Africa, European business pretty developed, also Asia Pacific, and Pakistan, Bangladesh, and India, no? So there is, let's say, the big areas of opportunities that we are still not captured. One of them is Middle East. We have big businesses in Africa, but not in Middle East. So this is where we are now focusing our expansion. We have Vietnam, which is the only ASEAN APAC country where we are not yet there. And we have also Eastern Europe countries where I think that we have already a very sizable business in Georgia, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, but there is some countries. So, but really the big region of the world where we are not yet, let's say, have the presence that we believe we can have is this Middle East. That on top of this, almost 70% of the population starting for Emirates comes from what we call Bata established countries, from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. So there is, the brand awareness is already there. So now we try to partner with local people that can also give us value of adapting the collection to fit the local needs and also helping us to adapt the local calendar to the the local festivities, and then with all this mix in place, also taking our own knowledge from markets like Pakistan, like India, also influenced by European. I think we can create a very meaningful business in this region. So that's why I'm here this week, and I had the privilege to meet so many smart and inspiring people in this during the week.
And the same approach will be taken in this region. The global local approach will be similar here. It will be tailored specifically to the needs of this region.
Yes, I mean, we of course we always keep our DNA. So let's say making sure that we make high quality products affordable for the mass majority of the population living in this country. But yes, we are also adapting, to some of the local needs. But so it's a mix of localizing what we believe, it's a must-have in this country in terms of footwear, together with our global collection that it's also, that have, let's say, a global footprint. Yeah.
Amazing. Roger, thank you so much for sharing such a wonderful example of an international business that's so focused on the global south and being so successful in tailoring its proposition to work on this international scale. It's been absolutely fascinating. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Yeah.